I'm Natasha Lockhart. Welcome to Studio Chatter. As the year comes to an end, we're going to take a little break to celebrate.
I'm Stacy Beck. We've gone through our many programs this year and selected a few gems that we want to share again.
And I'm Angie Murphy. From the serious to the fun, we've got a good sampling of what Studio Chatter is all about.
We hope that you'll enjoy this look back, coming up on Studio Chatter. Watch us weekdays at 10 a.m. only on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome to Studio Chatter. It's the Christmas holiday and we begged and pleaded for a couple of weeks off. Finally, producer Pete gave in, but we had to promise to fill our time slot with something. So we are giving you some of our favorite guest interviews from 2022.
6 years.
It was hard. It was a great year, and I went through so many, stood out. In fact, some of the ones that you two chose, I chose the same, but there was just gobs to choose from, guys. We're super lucky.
Thank you for watching, but thank you all of our guests that dare come into our studio. Yeah, they come in, they're like, oh, this is so scary. But the ones that are coming back, some of them were back for their fourth mug.
Right.
And then they just come in like,
fourth mug.
oh, I'm happy to be back. They love it and they're not scared. So
but that first time that I was on, I remember that. Sweaty taco, just so nervous.
Well, we're
wondering if you had hair and makeup,
Right.
all the particulars.
And people wonder if we film every day at 10.
We do.
Some actually believe that.
We are busy.
So, well, this is going to be a fun
We have a good time.
It will be.
For sure.
Here's our favorite.
Next on Studio Chatter, we'll start our review. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. We don't get a field trip very often, but we did get to visit Wild Ivy when they opened. Stacy, you picked this segment. Tell us why.
I think that's one of the main reasons I chose this segment, because it was a field trip. I thought it was so fun to go into Wild Ivy. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But we got pampered.
We did.
That is fun. And to just visit with Michelle, the owner, that was fun. So I wanted to go back into our memories. Last February.
Yeah.
It was cold and wintry that day.
And those pretty pictures of us with the angel wings. It was such a good memory. Well, yeah, I loved it.
Let's check it out and go walk down memory lane.
Okay.
Let's go. Welcome. We couldn't be more excited. Spanish Fork finally has a blow dry bar. We are on site at Wild Ivy, and with us is the owner, Michelle. Tell us all about Wild Ivy.
Hi, we're so excited to have you guys here today. So Wild Ivy is a blow dry bar and it's an experience. So something different that we do is we provide drinks for everybody, mixers, we have a juice bar. We also do cookies. That's kind of a fun treat that we do here instead of our American Fork location. What we do is we bring you guys back and you guys get to have a whole experience. So the shampoo chairs are massagers. You get scalp massages.
Love that.
And then we use state of the line products to keep your blowout lasting longer than just a few days. So you can go longer with your blowout than in between washes. So
Natasha is a huge fan of the blow dry bar. We are first timers.
First timer.
Okay.
So tell everybody what sets you apart from a regular salon.
Yes.
So a regular salon does cuts and colors, and we just do blowouts. So we just do washes and styles. We also do updos and makeup for special occasions, but we really have perfected the wash and style. So it's a whole experience. We provide the drinks, the atmosphere. So we're very different in that sense that we're just doing blowouts. So
I love it so much. So if you're like me and you hate washing your own hair or blow drying it, or your daughters,
or you just need to get pampered,
or you just need to be pampered.
Yes.
Exactly. It is totally worth the experience.
I'm hoping you offer gift cards.
we do, yes.
Because this is going to be perfect for February. Birthdays, Mother's Day, just months away. So many
and different kind
things.
of levels and pricing and everything like that.
Yeah, so we offer memberships for somebody like you and I that go into blow dry bars a lot. So we have anywhere from 2 a month to unlimited. And then we also offer, right now we're doing a buy one, get one free special. So you can buy one and you get one free which is about, our blowout is $42, so that puts it at $21 per service, which is really
Andrew,
good.
should we buy one before we leave?
Yes, let's do.
Yes,
Okay, we're
that's
in.
amazing. That's amazing. So we're going to enjoy the experience today.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll talk a little bit more after the fact.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, come with us.
You guys look great.
Thank you so much. It's such
And we
a
feel
treat.
great. What a treat, guys. I really needed this.
So just starting off with like the brush. Tell us the brush when they were just brushing our scalp when we just first sat in the chair.
Yeah, so those are our Rock and Rattle brushes, and they're actually from London. We sell them on our website. We sell them here.
Okay.
So they have boar bristles. You can take out the pad and clean them. I really like that. So it's got the removable pad. We can replace them if they get damaged. But it brings the natural oils of your scalp into your hair. So it really is really good for your hair and your scalp. So.
And why is that important to bring those natural oils in?
Because it hydrates the hair without like using a lot of product. So it just naturally.
So we should be brushing our hair more often.
Yes.
Just brushing it, just because.
Yes.
Okay, good. So then we went back to the washing area and tell us about that process, because they told us that you like teach them how to wash it a certain way too.
Yeah, so we wanted to be different. What kind of sets us apart from most places is the whole experience, like we talked about. But they do a 5-minute scalp massage. We have the massage chairs. So really kind of offering the whole experience and focusing. We have a whole back bar of all different types of shampoos and conditioners, hair masks, to really do what's best for your hair. So we really try to individualize the hair care for you, your hair needs.
So Michelle, if someone wanted to come in and say, I really need a deep conditioner, can they just add things like that on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have that. We have scalp treatments. We have a lot of different types of hair masks to help. So.
Okay, good to know.
We should get a scalp treatment and the whole.
Oh, I know.
deal
And that
next
massage
time.
chair just felt
It's fantastic,
wonderful.
isn't it?
And the
Yeah.
little poof was so just cozy and comfy, and I just could take a blanket and wrap it.
I loved when we went back and your hair getting curled with that Dyson curling iron and your
So-
hair was still wet.
So it's the Dyson Airwrap, and I learned about that the last time I was here. So it's actually still a bit damp, and then she pulls the barrel, pulls the hair into the barrel while it's still a bit damp, and it curls it. And the curls last for nearly a week. And
No,
it's a
What's the
beautiful
difference
curl.
between the curling devices, and why would you use something different?
So there's the curling iron that gives you that instant curl, but sometimes that doesn't last. Like for me, it maybe lasts a day or two, so it doesn't last super long. Somebody probably the same thing for her. So with her hair, it's going to hold that curl a lot longer to where she can go longer without washes. In between
Interesting.
washes.
It was
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool. It just sucked it in and then curled it. I thought that was really neat.
The whole thing. And your girls were darling.
Yeah,
Thank
Just
you.
very
They are
relaxing. And the drinks were delicious.
And the salon is beautiful.
Yeah.
it
It
just
is
feels nice. It
fantastic.
feels like a little.
So, Michelle, before we
Pampering.
even jumped in at the very beginning, we didn't even ask, like, are you from Spanish Fork?
Yeah, so I am born and raised here. My
Okay.
family's from here. So my aunt and uncle is Doug and Carol Ford. My grandparents lived here. So I have a lot of roots here. So
Okay.
that's what, when I was thinking about doing something, I thought I love blow dry bars. I love that experience to give women that they can come and pamper themselves and just offer something different than what's here in Spanish Fork. And it just made sense to do it here because this is where I live. I raise my kids here. They play all competitive sports, and so it just makes
It's just a perfect fit. Well,
Yeah.
welcome
Thank you.
to Spanish Fork as a business owner.
Thank
This
you.
is a
Everyone needs
new
to
thing
come.
for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody
It's like a
needs to
hidden
come
gem.
and treat themselves.
Now we understand Natasha. She's
Yeah, we
talked
get it.
about a blow-dry
Yes,
bar
yes.
so often.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Where were you first exposed?
So I just found some up in Salt Lake, and I just thought I can't drive up here once a week. You know, I just don't have the time being a mom, and I work a regular job, and so I just thought, hey, let's start one. So I reached out to Mercedes that owns the Fellas, and I said, do you want to do this? And she said, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. She's a good one to partner up with.
Yeah, she
Love
is.
it.
Awesome. We will all be back, I'm
Yeah,
sure of it.
Yep, buying our
Indeed.
passes on the way out.
It was fun to come together.
Yes.
So we could talk. It really felt like we were back in the 1950s, the salon experience where you have your girlfriends next to you catching up on.
But what a fun,
Yeah.
like, that is a perfect idea, Stace. Like,
Yeah.
instead of going to lunch, maybe just come get a blow dry
Yeah.
instead.
And everyone goes home
Yep.
happy and
Uh-huh. Less
Absolutely.
calories.
Yeah,
I like
less
it.
calories.
Beautiful hair.
yeah. Well, it was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You guys as well. I appreciate you guys coming by.
Best
This
of
was fun.
luck.
Thank you.
More of our year-end review coming right up. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next favorite turned our table into a garden box. Angie, why did you select Artisan Company as one of your favorite?
Guys, I love flowers and I love gardening. So it was like everything mixed together on the table. And then it reminded me of my mother who taught me how to arrange flowers and garden and found that true passion. So it was a connection, but then also it led us into going to her Mother's Day brunch, which was such a good memory with you
It
two.
was.
Yeah, and we brought along our daughters and her gorgeous garden and
our
you know,
moms.
and our moms. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
and my mom. Yeah, in spirit.
Yep, she was there with us.
Yeah, so that's why it was one of my favorites, connecting my mom with you two and another field trip.
It was
Love it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Let's roll it. There certainly can be some satisfaction in growing a garden, but joy? Let's find out more. Welcome artist Laura Scheider from Artisan Company to the table.
Welcome back.
Yay!
It's
Thanks for
so
coming.
fun to be with you ladies again,
We're
and I
excited.
brought some things to share
My
with
gosh, you
too.
did.
You brought a lot of things,
Yes.
This
which
is
makes
fun.
us so excited.
It's fun to stand up. We've never stood around this
Really?
table,
This is
so
a
now I
first.
feel like I think I want to start interviewing our people.
I think
like
we
there's a
should.
different energy. I feel like we
Yeah,
can
like
move and
And you
dance.
got
we
your
have our gloves.
on,
Yes.
right? We got
Yeah.
our gloves.
We're ready to work.
So you were here about a year ago, right? But tell us, what is generational gardening and how do you make it so unique?
That's a great question, Stacy. I appreciate you asking that. You know, I started the company called Artisan Co. to really focus on using the tool of gardening to connect with nature, to connect with each other. We already do it naturally, but just to bring an awareness to it, that we are doing generational gardening. And it makes me think about, like, just recently there was a survey that came out with the National Garden Survey, and they said 3/4 of families do some type of gardening. I mean, that's huge
Wow.
in the United States.
That's surprising.
I know. So either we do it, or we know our grandmother does it, or the sweet lady down the street, or a gentleman that grows his favorite roses. It's all around us, right? And so I just grew up seeing my grandparents' example, my parents' example of always having vegetable gardens and flowers around their home. And now I'm teaching it to my children. So I just see this generation of wisdom and love and connection that we get to have when we connect with nature. It's just a full experience. And so that's kind of what I've been trying to do with generational gardening. Just a sweet example is that my parents loved hanging baskets. They always had them around their home
My
first of
parents did
spring.
too.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And they're beautiful, and they probably bought their favorite colors and
Right.
types of flowers, and you got to enjoy them all season long. And I would always buy my mother hanging baskets around Mother's Day.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And so it's just a go-to thing, right? That you know that
Right.
your mom's going to appreciate it. And my mother last year, it was the first year without my mother at Mother's Day. And I was like in the garden store and literally like, I want to buy these baskets, but my mom's not here. And I thought, I am going to still buy these baskets for my mom, and I'm going to give them to my dad so he can put them up and our family can enjoy them. And they welcome people when they come into his home, these beautiful hanging baskets. And so I just thought that is a way to connect with those that have passed before us, and those that are still here is through beautiful gardening. And we're just going to be making that connection with these gardening baskets. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
Well, you've taken it one step better, though. I mean, I'm still the type that would go in and buy the basket. So there's so much love that goes into making your own. So that's the part you need to take.
And I think connecting with the earth, whenever I go out and work in my yard, just this calmness. I come back and I feel like rejuvenated. I don't know, there's something to do with earthing, I guess, with it all.
It's very healing. It's very healing. And to your comment too, like you buy the baskets. Well, so do I. And sometimes I make them too. So that is still generational gardening. So don't feel bad if you're buying things, right?
Okay.
It's like when you buy that frozen pie and you have to take it to the school project, just do it. Just
do
get
it
done.
anyway.
But you're still having that generational gardening experience, sharing it with others, people that you love, making it a part of your home.
Because you still have to take care of it through the summer.
Yeah, you got to keep it alive.
Water
Still
it, fertilize
growing.
it.
You're
It's growing,
growing
you
something.
deadhead it, make it look pretty.
So let's get going. So I'm going to have you ladies.
These are so cute.
Yeah, so here's our baskets. You guys have empty ones. This is what we're going to make today, and I'm going to show you how to make it.
Okay.
And this can be intimidating, but it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
So I'm going to make it very, very simple for each of you.
Okay.
Should we
in
put this
doing
on the outside?
Yes,
Okay.
so put the hook on the outside, and what we're going to do is you need your supplies. So you want to find a basket that you like. You can order these online or your favorite garden store, and then you also want a really good soil. Like I love to just get soil that has an organic mix or really natural. So you want a good soil for your plants. Now, the great thing about this is you won't need as much soil because a lot of these plants already have it around their roots, right? So that's the first thing is your supplies. The second thing is my favorite, which is flower shopping,
Yes,
right?
that is fun. And overwhelming.
And overwhelming, but so fun. And just go there. I like to break the rules. I like to, you know, sometimes people think it has to be a certain order or a certain kind. I think what flowers speak to you, you get them. You just make it your own, be creative. Sometimes people like to do all one basket pansies or the tier where it's tall, small, and you know goes in layers.
Like this one, which I really like this.
Yeah,
See, I would never pick this.
Neither would
because I always would do the normal thing. I'd probably grab the little centerpiece that sticks up, and then the little
This
petunias.
speaks to me, though.
This
I
is
love
just
the
this is
natural
so,
kind of
I love it.
And so you have like this Dusty Miller right here, and I love texture, and I love to mix. And then you've got this kale cabbage, you know, and then I like to do a little plant on the back. Make it kind of fun because you're really seeing things all the way around with a hanging basket. So what we're going to do right now is, we've already gone flower shopping, right, ladies?
Yeah,
We got our
we did.
flowers.
Okay.
So what I like to do before you even take it out of the pot, pick one that really speaks to you. What's the one you want kind of in the center or to the side? What do you like? And don't take it out of your box. Just start putting it in. So find one that you like, just start putting it in. So this allows you to start arranging it before you take the dirt out and put the dirt in. Have fun with the arrangement, you know, mix it. So if you want this one, Stacy, that hangs in the front, it's
I
gonna
didn't even
slope.
see that little guy.
And you've got this.
So you're saying go ahead and put them all in right now, or
Put
just
them
one?
all in. We're not taking them out of the baskets at all. This is your creative time. This is your time to keep the plant, you know, safe in its container, to figure out what combination you like to do.
I love this, by the way.
I know.
So
these are amazing. I mean, for fall or spring, these kale cabbages, I love them.
When we're going to plant, would you suggest putting a little dirt in the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, and
yes.
how much of that?
So I just do a cup or two depending on the base, and I just fill it up in the base.
Okay.
And then I start taking these flowers. After I figured out the arrangements that I like, what speaks to me, I start taking them out one at a time and putting that base dirt in, putting your plants in,
Okay.
and then start to put your soil in. So work from the outside in. Just kind of fill it to let the outside hold in your borders, and just tuck it in. That's my favorite part at the very end. Once you get your soil in, today we're just getting the design element down. And once you like it, you ladies can go home with the dirt. I'll provide for you to kind of create
that was
in your
so
own.
nice of you to do all of this.
No, it's
Do I
just
want
a
this
fun.
in the back though,
You
or do
can
I want it in the front?
Put it in the front. What does it speak to you, Stacy? Do you want it in the front?
Whoa!
You're fine.
Look at you. You are a pro there. You've got it down.
Natasha, you got it.
I know. She's just already got it already set how she wants it. And this is what's nice about first designing in the containers.
Then you can
You can see what you like and what really fits well with this. And you know, this was my
So
mom's
cute.
favorite part is
love
connecting with flowers, connecting with her family. And in honor of her, I'm actually doing a special event that's coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this?
We were wondering.
So we are doing, I always took my mother to brunch. And so to honor her, we're doing a special brunch in the healing garden that I've been creating in my backyard.
Okay.
And we're having 100 women, a catered brunch, beautiful from Gourmandy's, and also the
Have
Three
you been eating at
Reds.
Gourmandy's?
Yeah, and the Three Reds are coming to perform, and we're just going to have this beautiful environment with the healing garden all around us for women to connect and just to enjoy the time together in nature. And this is going to be a special event that you're going to talk about forever. It could be a gift to your mother, to your
To my
grandmother, to your daughters, you know. So
like
if
that.
you want to find out more about it, just go to artistsandco.com. So artistsandco.com. So it's ARDICE and co.com.
Okay,
So-
and we can just register there.
Register.
Yeah, you register. So May 7th is the special Louisa's Garden Brunch. I named it after my mom.
Oh, I love that, artist.
And it's something we're going to do every year. This is just going to be a
Okay.
tradition, but this is our first year, and it's going to be a really special experience of bringing women together with
That sounds like
nature.
I could do that every Saturday.
Yeah.
Like go to brunch outside with girlfriends.
Yes. And
especially
in her
if I have
healing
people
garden.
perform for me.
Yes, that sounds
and
really
now you guys
special.
have your beautiful,
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
to take to
did
your
it.
families so that you can enjoy and do the generational gardening with your family.
I love
Very
this.
simple, and just enjoy them all summer long. I hope you ladies
Well,
enjoy them.
we look
love
forward
you.
to seeing you back and inspiring us to be with our loved ones while we're outside. That's
Yes,
important.
it is
making those
important.
connections.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much
artist.
for your
Thank you.
time and our lovely gifts.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
The fun continues on Studio Chatter. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Our next favorite segment was all about reading. Sounds like a Stacy choice. Why do you like Make Reading Fun so much?
And she also said it was one of her favorites.
It was, and I'm not a
Yes.
big reader, but I
No,
did.
it was-
I
it was a
love
great one.
Tierney, and I loved her
It was fun.
concept.
And since she's been here, I've loved following her
Me
on
too.
Instagram. Her tag is Make Reading Fun, but it makes me always want to go get a new book.
I'm
Right.
shocked.
Or to
I
sit in
know.
a cozy corner and read to my
And
grandkids or something.
It's all about books for kids. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Really
you'll,
great.
You'll love
Super
rewatching
important.
this one.
Roll the clip.
Good one.
Reading can be such a fun activity, but when your kids start to lose interest, it's time to talk with our next guest. Welcome Tierney Shorter from Make Reading Fun to the table. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Yes, let's help with the kids.
Let's do, because Stacy finds reading very enjoyable and
love
fun.
it, yes.
And I do too, but I don't take the time. But I want that to translate to my grandkids now. To take this. All my kids love to read those, so I must have done something right.
must have. You did.
Right?
You didn't know
but
it.
I didn't
You
know
did.
it. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, here.
So my name is Tierney Shorter. I used to be a sixth grade teacher, pre-mom life.
Okay.
I have always had a huge interest in early childhood development. Literacy especially was my favorite thing to teach. When you get to sixth grade, a lot of sixth graders, I went in like gung-ho, like I can't wait to teach them about reading, and sixth graders are like,
Aren't
reading's
that
dumb.
excited?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. My
okay.
maiden name was Miss Diamond, so they'd be like, Miss Diamond, reading's stupid. I
Okay.
hate reading. Reading's boring.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my goodness, we've done something wrong, right? Like you said, somewhere along the way, we take the fun out of reading.
Right.
And so as a sixth grade teacher, I kind of made that my goal of, if I teach these kids nothing else, I want to instill a love for reading, and I want to show them that it's fun and that it's all about finding the right book.
Yes.
And don't they say something that there's a connection? If you're a good reader, you're probably good at your other skills in school, like math or et cetera.
Yes. Because
super
if you
important
think about
connection.
it, like there is reading in science, there's reading in math, there's reading in history. Like you are
To
reading
understand it.
all the time. And so if you're behind on reading, generally as you move on, you're behind on everything. And so
And in the summer break, parents need to pretty much stay on top of it. Get books, go to the library, So how can you help them? Like, what are your suggestions?
Yes. So this is actually my very favorite thing to talk about because my Instagram handle is Make Reading Fun because obviously we need to learn how to make reading fun. Because like I was saying, somewhere along the line we make it a chore, right? Like from infant to we'll say 6th grade, we lose the fun of it. And so I say you don't hate reading, you just haven't found the right book yet.
I like that.
So I think the first thing parents can do is to help their children find books they enjoy. So if you have a child who's really into sports, like get some sports magazines, find a good sports article. If you have a child who's into graphic novels, that's huge right now. Take them to the library, have them pick out a graphic novel that they like, because that is...
Okay, that's interesting because my daughter is bringing home these graphic novels. And I'm like, but that's not reading.
Yes, it is.
But okay, so help me with that. I'm like, it's a picture book.
Yes.
She's like, I love these.
I know,
I'm like,
because they do, because graphic novels aren't intimidating. There's not a lot of words on the page.
Okay.
They're fun. Kids like funny things, right?
Yes.
And as parents, sometimes we're like, that is lame. Like, you need a story, an actual rich story.
You've got to read 300 pages.
kind of. I'm like, why are we not reading Anne of Green Gables? Because why are you looking at this picture book?
But it can be overwhelming, right?
So I need educated that way. So if it is a new trend.
Yes, it is. And it's because all their friends are doing it.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay.
And like Angie said, it's not intimidating. Like, if you think about it, they can finish a book in a couple hours, sometimes less, some of the graphic novels.
Okay, that's a good point.
And it's still reading. Like, even if we're just reading stop signs, if we're just reading, like, the newspaper, not really a thing, it's reading. So if they're excited about it, don't take that away from them.
Okay, that is good to know.
That would be my number one goal, is to get them in things they're enjoying. So she's enjoying graphic novels.
Okay.
Get her more graphic novels.
Okay.
And I have lists of graphic novels that I could.
Fantastic.
she'd probably
Even better.
love.
Yes. Yay.
It's like a total 6th grade. I feel like.
Yes, totally. That's exactly where we're transitioning.
And boys and girls can kind of connect with that sort of thing.
Yes. And audiobooks too. Like for 6th graders, audiobooks are a great way in the summer because we're driving around a lot, we're traveling, to bring your family together by listening to a good book, because they're still getting comprehension skills, they're still having to listen to the story, and they're actually hearing the story the way it's supposed to be read, so it will help their fluency. There's so many skills.
I love hearing that, because
I love hearing that
they have to
too.
be reading, but when I'm listening, you have to pay attention. You're like using your imagination. It's kind of like back in the 50s, like when it was just radio before TV, and the family would gather and listen, and you used your imagination.
I was just saying that out loud right now.
Almost even more, because you're not reading it, but you're like imagining it. Yeah,
you're like in a new world, and then it's fun.
It is. Well, on the way to Lake Powell, you guys, we do this almost every year. We pick a book and then we listen to it all the way down to Lake Powell. Then when we get to Lake Powell, it's downloaded, and every night we'll like listen to it together. So it counts as a book reading.
You are instilling that love in your kids, and it does. It really does. Like, everything counts. We as parents and adults, we want to be like, oh, but that doesn't count. Oh, but that doesn't count. It totally counts. Like, if they are in a book reading the pages, 100%.
I mean, they can even go through the pantry and read food labels and. Right? I mean,
they're loving cooking and then do that. What are some of your favorites? What have you brought for us?
Gosh. I was literally like, guys, because I have 4 kids.
Or
so
how do we do this? Or give us some of your tips and tricks.
So this is the thing that I love about reading, is I always tell parents, your kids are never too old for picture books. So, and books are a great way to start hard conversations. So, like this is one of my favorite books. We all know that like pornography is a huge problem in our world. The good pictures, bad pictures.
Oh, wow.
This breaks it down for kids on their level. It like gives you prompts as a parent, because sometimes as parents, we don't really know how to start that conversation.
We don't even know what to say.
No, how to bring it up casually.
Do you look at porn?
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Like, wait, what? Yes. So this is one example of like a great way a book can start a really hard conversation at their level, and start a conversation about it. Not just like do you do that, but hey, this is kind of what it is. This is what it looked like. In this book, I mean, since we're on that subject, it talks about like, if you see it, you're not a bad person. This is a really great resource. But in books, that's like one of the first things that I think about if I'm like, okay, one of my kids is having a hard time being kind, or one of my kids is being disrespectful. I always go try to find a picture book because we can relate every lesson in life back to it. And that's what they teach you in the education program. That's why teachers start so many lessons with books, even math lessons and science lessons, because it gives the kids a place to go back
Genius.
to.
Love it.
Now you know.
I know, right?
You know. Which brings me to this book. So this is called Trying. If you buy any book this year, it should be this book.
It's beautiful.
Okay. I'm like,
Beautiful.
I know.
Write it
I'm
down,
like
write it
writing all
down. It's all about a little boy who sees these big, beautiful sculptures, and he goes and asks the sculptor, you know, like, how do I build that? Or how did you do that? And he's kind of intimidated by it, but the really long story short, the sculptor tells him, you just have to start. You have to try. And it talks all about how a lot of times it's just starting, and it's not already knowing how to do it. It's trying, right? And to keep trying and fail and try and fail and try.
Life lesson.
Amazing.
Huge.
Yes.
The beginning of like lots of things that we have to do in life.
Yes.
I'm already
That's beautiful.
getting intrigued with this one.
Yes. So
I am enough.
we all know that kids struggle, like thinking if they are enough, right? We have a big problem right now with that. And books are a great way to show kids that they are enough, no matter like, this is a great one for different colored skin, different activities you enjoy doing.
Okay.
It is just such a positive book, and it literally brings me to tears when I read it to my kids every time.
I just love the title.
I love the title and her sweet little face, because you just, with your children, it's true. It's like, just because you didn't win doesn't mean you didn't try your best and that you were good enough at it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
I love that.
This is perfect for vacation.
What should Danny do? We're all going on vacation,
Yes.
right? This book is 9 stories in one, and you literally choose the ending based off of his good choices and bad choices.
Oh, I love those books.
Your grandkids need
Yes,
it.
they
What
would love
age
it.
group is this one?
So I would say you could start at 3 and go up to, 10 to 12. Like, kids just naturally, we think they're not going to pick up picture books because they're older. They will.
Okay.
My kids love What Should Danny Do? And it like totally teaches them about right and wrong choices just through the story, and they see the consequences that come.
Great.
So this is one of my very favorites. I talk a lot about teaching about inclusion through books. I have a son who has Down syndrome, and this one kind of talks about what if, I'll just show you one page
Every so
really
often
quickly.
a zebra.
Yeah, so like what if a bear loved the winter? And what if a cow loved lemonade? And then it talks about what a beautiful world that would be, right? Even though it's a little different.
Yep.
And then
So sweet.
I'm thinking of my gunner for this one. So what
boys
is
love this. This is a
Yes.
graphic novel, so perfect example.
okay.
Yeah, if you want to open it, you can see.
Oh, they look just like this, don't they? Yep, they do.
And they all love them. And that's my little girls love. These are like younger age graphic novels. Another great book about kindness. I mean, I could talk about this subject.
Shirley, I want you back like regularly to
I think so.
I'm
And to bring us like
inspired.
the new like books of the season or whatever.
Let's have you back like right before school. So for summer, what would be a tip or two that you would tell a parent?
Okay, so I would say find books that they enjoy. Find ways to make it fun and not a chore, whether that's reading outside, have them come sit next to you when you read, listen to an audiobook in the car, some way to make it new. Read with a snack, something. And my third one would be to find a way to be involved in the reading with them. So
Yes.
reading a book all together, listening to an audiobook,
Yes.
doing a read aloud. Your kids are never too old for read alouds. Be involved, because then you're showing you care about their world.
And one thing I do like when I give even like a 1-year-old grandchild, I think, what are their parents' interests? Because you have to read a book again and again.
Right.
And again. So my daughter-in-law loves science and like NASA and the stars. And so if I find books on astrology, I'm like, yep, that's what the kids are getting, because mom's going to love reading it.
Right.
Right?
She won't get bored
Right.
and tired of that
Something
one.
like,
That's a great idea.
And it should be fun for us as parents
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Like,
you
we
should
shouldn't
come
be
back.
suffering.
You should come back for
you.
sure.
Yes,
Thank
we
you
love you.
so much. One more favorite to go. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Studio Chatter. If you have been a regular viewer for a while, you will remember that Natasha had quite the scare.
Yeah.
That was a little while ago, right? Last spring.
It's been almost a year.
And we're gonna
Scary, scary time for you, friend. And we're so super grateful to have you here and that you're somewhat just fine. Right? I hate to like dismiss and say everything's roses, but on the most part, you're back with us and whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was scary. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's it was quite a year, right?
Right. It's surreal, and sometimes you put it on a shelf. And now, and now we bring it to surface. But I think Stace would agree. We're so grateful that you shared it, to share the knowledge about what happened with others, if they might experience it as well.
You know, it's been a crazy year, and I'm just so happy to be back.
Yeah.
Well, we're so glad you're sitting
we
in
are.
that seat.
Yep.
Me too.
Okay,
Looking
let's take a
forward
look.
to a new year. One day you feel great, and the next day you don't. That happened to me. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Well, and thank you for talking about it.
I think it's important to talk about it because when you don't know, you don't know. And I've been learning things along the way and my experience, and I've actually held back a little bit. I haven't really shared on social media yet, just to kind of make sure that we were out of the woods and making sure that everything was okay. And I know that people have been reaching out. So I will just start where we left off. Quite literally, the last time we were filming, and just on the, really on the heels of Studio Chatter, I don't know if you recall, but we were in studio and we had talked to one of our guests who shared that they lived nearby.
Yes, I remember this moment actually.
And I can't remember what was going on, but I just couldn't recall, like,
it was your address.
Yes.
Do you remember asking you
And
where
there
you
were
were?
two people in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm like, but I live kind of there, but I could not recall the street name. And I just shrugged it off as a late night, like, a little off.
And I thought maybe you just didn't want to share your address on air.
Like,
was what I thought maybe.
And I didn't even think probably that at all. I just, I live right here, It was fine. So I went home that evening and we were talking about our upcoming vacation. And I could not talk about the Hawaiian vacation. And I'm like, so what? The island, we go to. Where do we go to in Hawaii? Oahu. Like, it just couldn't come out. So again, we just shrugged it off. You're tired, go to bed. Next morning, on our way to dance convention. So daughter has to go down to the studio, run the solo. That morning, though, even things that I would normally do in the routine, just Alexa, turn on the fish tank, all the things you usually do. And it was like tank, fish, like just kind of all over the place. And my husband said, "Are you joking?" And I got really upset. And I ran into the bathroom and again, shrugged it off, took my little notebook with me. I'm like sharing with my friend at the studio. I'm like, I don't know, like scared, like I just couldn't get any of it out. So we'll take her into Instacare, or take her to the hospital, see what's going on. So they were very polite and checked me in and said, did you fall? Like, what has happened? Has somebody beaten you? Like, I mean, all the things would be like, no, I'm fine. So they did the scan, and they said, you have a brain bleed, and I could probably even share the pictures with you. And I said, no, I don't. And Nurse Jenny, bless her heart, and even since I've gone back, they've said it's Nurse Jenny with the Australian accent. So thank you very much, Jenny. But they said, she said, honey, no, you have a brain bleed. You're going to the hospital. I said, no, I'm not going in the ambulance. Absolutely not. You're not turning on the lights, and I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to a dance convention today. And anyway, they were very insistent, transported me. And then things get, scary when you hear that you're going to ICU, you have a brain bleed,
They put you right into ICU, right?
Yes.
Explain a little bit to us, maybe both of you, what a brain bleed is or what causes it, and maybe that's a continuation of the story.
Well, I definitely want to share stroke. What are they?
The stroke symptoms.
Yeah, there we go.
The BFAST.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've had everything from a brain bleed to a mini stroke to a mini stroke with aphasia or a blood clot. So it's been called all those different things.
Okay.
But I displayed many of the symptoms. And really that morning, actually, I'm like, oh, I get migraines all the time. So I took, a couple Tylenol and called it a good day. But it was so yes, let's talk about that. Share. That's the important part. Because with migraines, my tongue would go numb. I definitely get the aura, the double vision, even kind of your limp arm going.
And you've had that?
I've had that before many times.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. But the weird part was the language.
The speech.
Yeah.
The speech. Well, and the thing is with you articulate and know your words so good. For me, I don't even know if anyone would pick up on it.
Right, they'd be like, oh, Angie kept talking
Natasha, and when I came to visit you the first time at your home.
Stacy called me and she was really concerned.
Yeah, because you were just like, no, I'll be back. And I was like, Angie, she's not coming back, and we are not going to let her for a month.
Well, and that's the part that would make me cry, because aphasia, by definition, is basically you're a hostage. You are a hostage to your language. Like it's like charades. Like as much as I want to verbalize, I just
can't get it.
Couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't. And everything was literally backwards. And a word like magnet that you've known your whole life, I would be like magnet, like trying to spell it out. And I would practice with Gunner's little books, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to read out loud again. I can read, and you're an intelligent person, and you're literally trapped inside your own body. And I think that was probably the hardest part, like when we were like, is this gonna be this way forever?
So I think that's what I want to ask, like, why is it, like, she's healed, I bet you're 95% great again? Do you feel like you're?
I feel that way, and I could probably even share those pictures also. Like you can literally see like kind of where the pool of blood and how now it stopped on its own. That's why there was no emergency surgery. I mean, and most people were like, oh, your hair. I'm like, no, that's fine. Like if it's, life and death. But I guess it just kind of stopped on its own and will eventually just absorb into the brain on its own.
So why does that happen?
As you get rid of that pressure, that blood that's there, that's not supposed to be there, you'll get some of that. You're progressively getting back to what your normal state is. And with brain bleeds and strokes, sometimes it's a spontaneous, sometimes it's a head injury. With strokes, it's family history, it's medical history. It's a slew of things, and really when it comes down to those, for us, time is brain, and really that is what we talk about with strokes. That time is brain, and so when we focus on strokes and activation, one thing with Spanish Fork Hospital that we've really worked on this last year is the activation. If somebody comes in with deficits, such as yours, pulling those resources together, getting the CT scan as quickly as we can, so that we get you the care that you need in appropriate amount of time. And if medications were needed to be involved for maybe a clot for a stroke, that we're getting them in within that 4-hour window to make sure that you're not succumbing to any permanent damage to your brain. And that's where you get those long-term effects. The longer that the brain goes without the blood, you're going to see those longer term effects that never come back.
So then incident number 2, after I'd even been discharged from the hospital, that Sunday I was home, I was doing fine, and I went downhill again, and it was like, and the language all over, and I just couldn't come for the words. And so I had my phone and I'm pointing to it, and I'm telling Keith, I wanted to tell him 911. I wanted to tell him ambulance. I wanted to say those things, and I'm like hitting my phone saying, blue people, the blue people, and I guess that was such a blessing that Spanish Fork Hospital is so close. I mean, he's like, kids, go. We're going now. Wow. And we were there, and they responded. So, and Nurse Jenny, again, like she was there, and I guess that's the feeling that's just when it's so close to home, and so that warm feeling, like literally hugged me and said, I've been so worried about you. And she was it was so amazing, because that day I did not want to go.
Well, and what a blessing that she already knew your history.
Right. Yes.
Like you didn't have to say anything, just to show up. She could get things going.
Yes, and I had told her before, I'm like, I do not want to go in the ambulance. I couldn't say ambulance then, but I didn't want to go.
I don't want to go.
No.
Then you saw Jenny, and you're like, yes.
But, you know, it's just, it's been a blessing, really, all the way around. Like, I'm back to normal, so to speak. I didn't have to have speech therapy. Yet, I guess I probably could have some help, I don't know, but the reading has kind of come. And yes, I mean, having the blessing or having the hospital so nearby, I mean, everything has just been amazing. But if there's anything to share, it's if you recognize those symptoms with anybody, because even sleeping on it overnight, we were like, like maybe, who knows?
So what are some of those symptoms that we can look for?
So we look at the BFAST acronym, we look at balance, we look at eye movement, are they symmetrical? Are you able to follow the fingers? And then the FAST, facial, we look at the symmetry. We look at arms, your droop, speech. Can you get it out? And then we look at time. We look at onset of symptoms. And, I can't stress enough that when things like that, just don't start making sense, trust yourself. And it's, we've worked hard. We've actually activated about 115 strokes in the hospital since we've opened. And it's, the activation just gives us the resources that we need to make sure that we're hitting those time limits. And so really understanding that BFAST, the acronyms, the symptoms, trusting yourself, and we will never question your concern. When you walk in thinking that you're having a stroke, we are activating that. We're taking it seriously because only you and your family know you the best. And so if it's not normal, that is definitely what we go off of, and we just hit the ground running and
yes,
until we figure out what it is.
Oh gosh, yes.
So scary, Natasha.
Yeah, it was scary. And kudos to the hospital and the staff. I mean, they responded just to everything. So everything has been great so far. Maybe some dull headaches here and there. Just everything resolving itself. And sometimes the double vision. And just asking people to be patient with me, because I do question sometimes. I'm like, is it coming out the right way? I'm like,
I bet.
So
the fact that you're sitting here having this had happened a month ago is a blessing of itself. And
this was motivation in and of itself. I'm like, I have to read.
Natasha, as you may guess, she doesn't like to rest. She would
or miss out on anything.
She was feeling like she was missing out on all the fun.
FOMO. Oh, I have FOMO. Yes, yes.
So we were just like telling her, no.
Yes.
No, but I can just, no. But you're going to stay home and rest.
There's a weird part too where you almost feel isolated. Like there's something that you can't see it, but there's something wrong with you, So I think that's even why I've even pushed back a little bit for people to reach out, because I'm fine. Like I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, you just don't want to be a burden either, So thankful to all of those who stepped out of their way anyway. Yes, and sitting around does me no good either with comfort foods. But it's been great. So I'm happy to be back.
We're glad you are healed.
Super grateful.
And healing.
Thank you. Yes.
And thanks for helping us see a little bit.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, because that's very emotional, and it's hard. And
it is.
But I love that you had such a great experience, and we have worked so hard to build that amazing team in the ER, and man, they are on fire. They work together.
They do.
They really can read each other's minds. What they're thinking before they're thinking it, and it's so cool to see that team work together, and
Yes.
And that's successful.
I will
patient
definitely
outcome.
attest to that. So
Yes.
thank you all so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
We love you, Natasha.
Thank you. Welcome back. Time just doesn't allow us to play all of our favorites. We have so many. But if you feel like binging on Studio Chatter, you can go to our YouTube page and have fun. That's at youtube.com/SF17 Studio Chatter. Because that's what you want to do,
Yeah,
right?
Angie and I have a great suggestion.
We sure do. Just like Stacy just curled up at home during that week. Watch your Yellowstone binging and then
Studio
Studio Chatter.
Doesn't that sound like a nice, relaxing way to spend the Christmas
Yes.
break?
My husband thinks so.
You'll get all caught up with
Right.
what's been going on in
With
Spanish
Studio
Fork.
Chatter or Yellowstone?
Probably more so
I was
Yellowstone
gonna say,
over Studio
if
Chatter.
Keith has ever watched an episode,
of Studio Chatter.
I think still the only one Chris has ever watched is the one years ago when it was an April Fool's one, when the three guys came in and impersonated us and sat at our table.
Okay,
It
that
never
was not a
fails
part of that.
when I do have it on Instagram. He's like, oh.
My mom was my biggest fan, guys. I hope she's in heaven just to watching all these for me.
Yes, I
So
believe that to be
good.
true for all of
Yeah.
our moms.
No,
Yeah.
we appreciate everyone that watches. And when I
Yes.
think about Studio Chatter, I really just hope it's helped pull the community together.
Totally.
Help us connect our viewers to people in the community, whether it's just your neighbor next door,
I
a
agree.
business owner down the street, someone just sharing their innermost thoughts.
Right. We're all diverse, and I feel like we've helped to connect people
Yeah.
with each other
And we couldn't
stories.
do it without SF17.
Yeah,
Pete,
thank
our
you.
producer,
The
our
locals
crew.
really do love it.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
It's
so
fun.
It really is.
Thanks. We've had a
We're
great
grateful
year.
that you
Yes.
guys keep
Thank
watching
you.
us. So
Yes.
here's to a new year
Yes.
almost, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the walk down memory lane. We wish you all a very happy new year.